What if I told you that every woman you'll ever meet will test you? Not out of cruelty, but out of instinct. She wants to know if she can shake you, if she can dominate you, if your mind is stronger than her charm. Most men fail those tests. They react, they explain, they chase. And the moment they do, she loses respect. Because power in love isn't about winning her over, it's about staying unshaken when she tries to break your balance. Machiavelli said, "It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both." In modern relationships, that fear isn't cruelty, it's respect. It's the calm, unmovable energy that says, no matter what you do, I remain centered. So if you're new here, subscribe and stay till the end, because what I'm about to reveal will completely change the way you understand attraction, power, and emotional strength. The test you didn't see coming. A few months ago, a friend of mine, let's call him Roberto, called me at 11 p.m. His voice was heavy, confused, frustrated. You could hear that mix of pride and pain that every man has felt at least once. He said, "Man, everything was going perfectly. We went out 3 times. Chemistry was electric. She laughed at everything I said. She even introduced me to one of her friends, and then suddenly, boom, cold as ice. She stopped replying, left me on red. I asked if everything was okay, and she said, yeah, everything's fine. But clearly, it wasn't." That silence, that confusing shift from warmth to indifference, it eats at men. You start replaying every conversation. You wonder if you said something wrong, if you texted too much, if she met someone else. But here's the cruel truth. Roberto didn't do anything wrong, but he also didn't do anything right, because what he thought was just bad timing wasn't bad timing at all. It was a test. The hidden exam. She told him, "I'll call you after work, around 5. 5 came, then 6, then 7. Nothing. Finally, at 9, she texted, casually, sorry. I lost track of time with my friends. How are you?" Now, most men would shrug that off. They'd think, she just forgot. It's no big deal, but women rarely forget in the early stages. They observe, they test, because she doesn't want to see how you act when things go smoothly. She wants to see how you react when things don't. That text wasn't an accident. It was a silent question. Can I shake his center? The real test was your reaction. If you reply instantly, you fail. If you ask, "Why didn't you call?" you fail. If you show irritation, frustration, or disappointment, you fail. Because the real exam isn't about what she said. It's about how you handled uncertainty. A man who needs answers, validation, or emotional reassurance proves one thing. He's not the source of his own peace. And the moment she senses that, she loses respect. You see, attraction isn't logical, it's instinctual. And a woman's instinct is tuned to detect weakness, especially emotional weakness. When you break your frame, you confirm her subconscious suspicion that your confidence was conditional, that it only existed when she was giving you attention, and that's when she starts to pull away for real. The power of non-reaction. So what should Roberto have done? Simple. Nothing. He should have let her text sit, not as a punishment, but as proof of control, because silence is louder than any reply. It says, I don't chase emotional balance, I create it. And that kind of energy drives women crazy, because it's rare, it's magnetic, it's masculine peace. When she realizes her delay didn't shake you, she starts to wonder why. She starts to think about you more, not less. She replays her own behavior, not yours. Because for a woman, emotional power isn't about dominance, it's about gravity. And the man who doesn't move easily becomes the man her mind orbits around. The Machiavellian truth. Machiavelli wrote, "Men are driven by 2 principal motives, love and fear. If you cannot inspire both, it is safer to be feared." In relationships, that fear isn't about control or cruelty, it's respect. It's the calm, unshakable energy that says, no matter what you do, my balance remains. That's what she's truly testing for, not your charm, your looks, or your words. She's testing your emotional sovereignty. Because deep down, she knows the man who cannot be shaken cannot be replaced. Part 2. The Need Space Test. Everything's going perfectly. The texts are flowing. The energy feels alive. You're joking, vibing, connecting, and for a moment, you think you've finally cracked the code. And then, out of nowhere, she drops the sentence that every man dreads. I think I just need some time for myself. I've been feeling stressed lately. You stare at the screen, your stomach sinks. You read it again, hoping it means something else, but you know exactly what it sounds like. And here's what happens next. You start spiraling. You wonder, did I do something wrong? Is she losing interest? Should I fix it before it's too late? So you reply with concern. You try to sound understanding. You type things like, "Are you okay? Did I do something? Please don't disappear." You think you're being caring, but in reality, you just failed the test. The hidden power play. Because that message, "I need space," is almost never about space. It's about power. It's her subconscious way of saying, "Let's see if your world collapses without me." She doesn't necessarily want to leave. She wants to see if you'll chase, if you'll panic, if you'll abandon your frame to pull her back. It's not malice, it's instinct. Because feminine energy seeks masculine strength the way chaos seeks order, and she can't know you're strong until she feels you're calm under threat. The Machiavellian response. The correct answer is not found in words, but in demeanor. Stay calm, minimal, grounded. Simply say, "Of course. Take all the time you need. I've got things to handle too." And then, stop talking. No chasing, no explaining, no emotional paragraphs, no checking her social media to see what she's doing. You go back to your life as if nothing happened. Because what she's really watching isn't your reaction in the moment. It's the energy that follows. If your mood collapses, if your confidence dips, if your focus disappears, she feels it instantly. And in that moment, she realizes your peace was never yours. It was hers. A man whose peace depends on her attention can never lead her. Understanding the psychology. Think about how it started. When you first met, you were busy living your life. You had a purpose, momentum, direction. You weren't waiting for her messages. You were too focused on your mission. That's what drew her in. She chased you. She texted first. She invested energy to earn your time. But somewhere along the way, you got comfortable. You started checking your phone more often. You started replying faster. You started revolving around her rhythm instead of your own. And that's when her instinct flipped. The law of emotional polarity. Attraction is not built on comfort. It's built on polarity. The masculine is direction. The feminine is motion. When the two are balanced, there's tension. When they blur, the energy dies. The moment you start orbiting around her, she stops feeling your gravity. Because to her subconscious mind, you're no longer the mountain. You've become the weather, changing, reacting, shifting. And no woman can relax in a man who moves with every emotional breeze. The truth she'll never say out loud. When she says, "I need space," she doesn't want you to chase her. She wants you to stay still. She wants to feel your steadiness, to sense that you can exist without her attention. Because if you can't, she'll lose respect. But if you can, something strange happens. She starts to miss the calm. She starts to wonder why you're not chasing. She replays your silence. And in that replay, desire reignites. Your stillness becomes her tension. Your absence becomes your authority. The Machiavellian truth. Machiavelli said, "The promise of power is stronger than power itself." And in relationships, the promise of your self-control is more intoxicating than any declaration of love. Because when she sees that she can't shake you, she feels both safe and intrigued. That's when attraction stops being emotional and becomes psychological. Final rule. When she asks for space, don't argue, don't negotiate, don't fix it. Simply step back and let your silence prove your strength. Because the man who can disappear without losing himself is the man she can't forget. Frame control. Machiavelli wrote that appearances of strength matter more than strength itself. In relationships, that means your frame, your emotional posture, must remain unbroken. She can pull back, she can test you, She can disappear for a few days, but your life keeps moving, with or without her. That's what creates respect. That's what builds obsession. Because a woman can't resist the man she can't shake, the one who doesn't need her validation to stay at peace. The 5 tests every woman uses. Let's get brutally honest. It doesn't matter if she's elegant, spiritual, educated, or wild, every woman tests. Not because she's evil, because she has to. It's instinct, not intellect. And if you don't see the test coming, you'll think it's drama, when it's really an evaluation of your strength. Here are the 5 most common tests, and how a man with true presence passes every one of them. Test number 1, the sudden withdrawal. Everything's going perfectly. Texting, chemistry, laughter, and then cold silence. Short replies, long response times, energy shift. You ask, everything okay? She says, yeah, all good. But clearly, something changed. Most men panic. They overthink, overtext, overexplain. Here's the truth. You probably did nothing wrong. She's simply checking if your emotions depend on her attention. The correct response: do absolutely nothing, no chasing, no double texting, continue your day exactly as before. Because when you stay centered through her silence, you pass the test, and her respect deepens. Test number 2, the manufactured drama. This one is psychological warfare disguised as a small argument. She says, why did you like that girl's photo? Why did it take you 40 minutes to reply? Why did you smile at the waitress? You think, are you serious? But it's not about the photo, the reply, or the smile. It's about control. She wants to see if she can provoke you, if she can make you explain yourself. The correct response: stay calm, don't defend, don't justify, don't debate. Simply say something grounded, like, you're reading too deep into it, and switch topics or walk away peacefully. Because the moment you defend yourself, you've already accepted her frame. And once you're inside her frame, you're no longer leading, you're reacting. Test number 3, the strategic silence. She disappears for 3 days. No text, no call, nothing. You start wondering, is she mad? Did I say something wrong? And by day 2, you break. Hey, are you okay? She replies casually, oh sorry, I've just been super busy. How have you been? And you fall for it. The correct response: silence meets silence. Continue your life. When she comes back, act as if nothing happened. Why? Because your calmness says one thing louder than words. Your absence does not control my peace. That's true dominance. Test number 4, the declared dissatisfaction. This is the emotional earthquake. She says, I'm not happy with how things are going, or you've changed. Instantly, most men shift into fix-it mode. What can I do better? Tell me how to make it right. But that reaction kills attraction, because you just surrendered your power to her emotions. The correct response: stay grounded, acknowledge her words without losing your balance. I understand. Let's take a breather and see how things flow. No begging, no adjusting your personality, because the moment you reshape yourself to please her, you stop being the man she respected in the first place. Test number 5, the planted doubt. This is the most subtle and the most dangerous. She mentions another man, talks about an old friend, says things like, I've been thinking about what I really want. She's planting insecurity to see if you'll break, if you'll get jealous, possessive, reactive. The correct response: absolute composure, smile, stay calm, change the subject. Because the man who doesn't flinch when she mentions another man is the man she can't stop thinking about. The truth behind all 5. All these tests are the same question disguised in 5 different forms. Can I shake your frame? And your answer must always be the same: no. Don't react, don't explain, don't chase. Because every time you stay calm, you reinforce your power. And every time you react emotionally, you lower the 3 pillars of unshakable power. Every powerful man is tested, not once, constantly, not by enemies, but by attraction itself. Because the feminine instinct never trusts peace. It tests to confirm strength, and if you flinch, explain, or overreact, you surrender the frame you built. That's why Machiavelli said, "It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both." But in modern love, feared doesn't mean cruelty, it means respect. It means she knows you are not a man who can be emotionally manipulated. And that power comes from mastering 3 invisible weapons: patience, silence, non-reactivity. 1. Patience, the art of emotional delay. Weak men react fast, strong men wait. When she pulls away, they panic. When she's cold, they chase. When she's silent, they over-explain. But the Machiavellian man does none of that. He waits, calmly, because he knows that silence exposes truth faster than words ever could. Every woman eventually breaks her own silence. Every test runs out of energy when you don't feed it. Patience is the language of power, because time always bows to the man who controls his pace. 2. Silence, the weapon of mystery. Silence makes the feminine mind spiral. When you stop over-communicating, she starts overthinking. She replays your last words. She analyzes your tone. She begins to wonder, why isn't he chasing me? And in that space of wonder, attraction is reborn. Because when she can predict you, she stops feeling you. But when she can't quite read you, she can't stop thinking about you. Your silence becomes your presence. Your absence becomes your authority. Machiavelli would call it the art of appearing less accessible to increase your worth. 3. Non-reactivity, the final form of power. This is the highest level, where nothing, no text, no insult, no emotional trap can move you. Because a man who can't be emotionally provoked is a man no one can control. That's real strength. Not muscles, not money, not charm, but emotional immunity. She says something hurtful, you stay calm. She tries to guilt you, you don't defend. She disappears, you don't chase, you simply observe. And through that observation, you dominate. Because control isn't about controlling her, it's about controlling yourself. That's why the most powerful men in history, from Marcus Aurelius to Machiavelli, all said the same thing in different words. Master your emotions, or they will master you. The reward of power. When you become this man, women stop testing you the same way. Because now, your energy teaches them how to treat you. They feel your boundaries before you speak them. They respect your silence more than your attention. And they fear losing your calm more than losing your affection. That's when attraction turns into devotion. Because in a world of noise, your stillness becomes addictive. The psychology of surrender. Every woman wants a strong man, but not for the reason most men think. It's not because of protection, status, or wealth. It's because strength gives her permission to relax. When she feels your calm, she softens. When she feels your chaos, she guards herself. Because deep in her subconscious, she isn't searching for love first, she's searching for safety. And safety doesn't come from words, it comes from presence. The feminine instinct. The feminine mind is a storm, wild, emotional, and constantly moving. It's not her flaw, it's her design. But the storm is always looking for one thing, a mountain that won't move. If she can't find that, she becomes the storm forever. If she does find it, she rests. That's why a woman may argue, test, or even provoke you, not to destroy your peace, but to measure it. Every emotional spike she throws your way is a subconscious question. Can you hold me when I lose myself? If your answer is panic, anger, or neediness, she withdraws. But if your answer is stillness, she surrenders. Why calm equals control? Calmness isn't indifference. It's confidence under pressure. It tells her, no matter what you do, I won't lose myself. That is the moment she realizes she cannot control you, but she can trust you. And trust is what allows her to fall deeper than she ever admits. Because true feminine submission isn't forced, it's evoked. It happens when her emotions finally meet something stronger than themselves. Machiavellian understanding of power. Machiavelli once wrote, "Men must either be caressed or annihilated. In love, the principle translates differently. A woman must either admire your strength or lose interest. You can't charm her into surrender. You can only command it through consistency, calm, and controlled mystery. Because mystery is not manipulation, it's mastery. It's what keeps her imagination chasing you long after her logic told her not to. That's why the man who reveals everything dies in her mind. But the man who holds back, who stays composed, rules her emotions without even trying. The final truth. When you master yourself, she feels it. Her energy changes, her tone softens, her eyes linger longer, because she no longer feels like she's competing with you. She feels like she's safe with you. That's the paradox of masculine dominance. You don't force her to submit. You create an energy so solid that she wants to. She doesn't fall to her knees because of fear, but because her soul finally found rest in a man who cannot be shaken.